come forth not to get you to believe anything. We see great diversity in that which you believe. And in all of that, there is perfect balance. And so we come forth not to alter your beliefs, but to reacquaint you with the eternal laws of the universe. And we are here to express all of that to you in detail.
Let's talk a little bit about the nature of desire from, now don't get freaked out, a quantum physics point of view. Oh my God, this is going to talk about physics. I don't want to listen. Don't relax. You're going to enjoy this.
When we look around us, even at our own bodies, what we see is the tip of the iceberg. You could say the classical tip of an immense quantum mechanical iceberg.
Everything in the universe is energy. Your body's energy. The room you're living in is energy. Everything you want is energy.
And that's not a new idea. A fuzzy-haired guy in 1925 wrote on his chalkboard, E equals mc squared. We couldn't grasp what that meant. What that says is on one side of the equation is mass and light and everything that we perceive, but it all equals energy. Everything is energy. And let me help you understand that just a little bit. The universe, of course, and the galaxy, and our planet, and then individuals, and then inside of this body are organ systems, and then there's cells, and then there's molecules, and then there's atoms, and then there is energy. So there are a lot of levels to talk about something on, but when you get down to it, everything is energy.
There's enough energy sitting in there, in one atom, to do amazing things, to possibly even open up the doorways to lighting an entire city.
Think of this for a moment. Take your hand and look at it. Now your hand looks solid, but it's really not. If you put it under a proper microscope, you'd see a massive energy vibrating.
And so everything is made up of the exact same thing, whether it's your hand, whether it's the ocean, or whether it's a star. The colored paper with ink on it is not money. It's just energy. And so part of the illusion that we're living in is that, these things are solid. They're not solid. Neither is a piece of wood, neither is a rock.
Get the proper microscope and go and look at a wall. That wall is not solid. That wall is a massive energy in a very high speed of vibration.
It feels solid because of the vibration, the rate at which the molecules are vibrating.
Everything in the universe vibrates. In other words, everything moves. We live in an ocean of motion.
You are vibrational beings in a vibrational universe.
So it's very difficult for us as scientists or engineers or medical doctors or anybody to come to terms with the fact that what our senses are telling us is really not the whole story.
We've been so taught to live with our physical senses, hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. But our physical senses lie. Our physical senses don't tell us the truth.
If you only judge by your sensory factors, you'd believe the sun took a bath in the ocean every night and burrowed through the earth and was reborn on the eastern shore the next morning. I mean, the ancients used to believe that, but now you know better than that. If you judged only by your sensory factors, you'd believe that train tracks met in the distance. But you know better than that, and you turn away from your senses. If you lived only by your sensory factors, you'd believe that a dog whistle made no sound. But you know better than that, so you turn away from your sensory factors and you stand out in your yard and you blow away. And yet how many times, if we're not careful, we find ourselves living at nothing more than the sensory level?
If we take a look at everything in the universe, we know from a scientific perspective is made up of something called energy. So what do we know about the properties of energy? Number one, all energy has a vibration. All energy has a vibration. It emits a frequency.
We are frequency generators. If you get close to someone's skin, you can feel infrared energy being given off. If you look at them, you're seeing light energy given off. We now have scans where you can put a machine around somebody's head instead of putting the electrodes on their head and perceive and record the energy that their brain is giving off.
The most potent form of energy, by the way, is thought. It penetrates in all space and all time. Every thought has a frequency. We can measure a thought. What most people don't understand is a thought has a biochemical and biological property. Every thought.
What is it? Is the secret the law of attraction?
The law of attraction, in this particular DV, that's where it starts out, basically, as a law of attraction.
And what is that?
It is simply that the thoughts, your chronic thoughts, the thoughts you hold in your awareness, have a tendency to become your experiences. What you think about, you bring about. What you think about becomes your belief. What you believe becomes the perception by which you view life, and your perception basically determines your experience. It's very, very basic. Science would corroborate the fact that your thoughts are units of energy that become experience, that become behavior, that become habit, that become even symptoms in the body. So it's not new, but I think, again, this powerful marketing is allowing people to begin to think about what they can consciously think about, rather than just kind of ambling along in life.
So is it the power of positive thinking?
I don't call it the power of positive thinking, because you can be positive that you're broke. But I call it affirmative thinking. So it's life on the affirmative. So you're placing your attention on love, on harmony, on service, on power, on joy, which we teach are really the natural states of your being. And as you keep bringing your attention there, then the world, the universe kind of shapes itself around where your attention is.
So is it that you can actually move the universe, move objects, move?
Well, I wouldn't talk about the fact moving objects or things of that particular nature, but you can begin to shape your own destiny by the attitude that you keep. The scientists have a wonderful language in which they call it the observer effect, that you basically, in any experiment, you absolutely change the experiment just by observing it. You change it on a subatomic level. So as individuals begin to look at the world, look at their life, but with an intention of having more happiness, with an intention of seeing more beauty, with an intention of looking for more beauty or more opportunities, they'll have a tendency to find what they're looking for.
So if you're walking around gloomy and morose,
you'll see a lack of opportunity, and you'll have a tendency to keep radiating that into your experience. But as you begin to change your outlook, which we all have the capacity to do so, some it may be more difficult than others, then you'll have an opportunity to see more opportunities for you to express yourself.
It can seem that if you're poor and you're sick, it's your doing.
Well, one thing we teach here is we never blame a person for their experience, but we do encourage everyone to take responsibility for their life. So blame and responsibility are not synonymous. So an individual might be in a situation where, as you're describing, they may be poor, they may be sick, they may be unemployed, there may be any manner of circumstance they may be participating in, and we wouldn't say you're to blame for that. But we will say you can now take responsibility for your life to begin to walk in the direction of progress. In other words, you can release blaming everyone else, begin to put your attention on how you can change inside, and then watch life correspond to that inner change. It doesn't do any good to blame. Blame, it's endless. You know, people blame society, they blame all manner of people for their circumstances and situations. The idea is to take responsibility for your life.
In the video, there are people who are looking for wealth, looking for things. The woman who wants the necklace,
right.
All of a sudden it's on her neck.
Right, she visualizes it there.
Yeah,
right.
Is it that sort of thing?
Not really. Those are the kind of the beginning steps of teaching. You know, and I think that oftentimes people kind of gather around how to get things fast in their life. That's not the real message. The real message is that as you begin to change internally, your life begins to reflect that change. And that it does include prosperity, it does include health, it does include right relations, it does include ideal employment. It includes using the law to stabilize your structures in life. Health, your mental and emotional health, finances. You stabilize the structures so that ultimately you can be a beneficial presence on the planet. Now the way it shows on the video, since it's a beginning video, there's a lot of emphasis around what you can get, what you can attract to yourself.
It sort of sounds like the universe is your own personal ATM.
Right, you know. And I think that's
not the message.
I think that's not the entire message. That's the beginning stage message. That you can open yourself up and have greater possibilities come into your life. But this teaching is not really about materialism, nor is it about consumerism. It's really about growing spiritually, with an understanding that there are laws in the universe that if you practice them, they'll respond to you. Just like electricity, just like gravity.